We are all a little depraved and debaucherous. Here is the king of podcasts.
We're going to talk about Barbie and the Barbie movie that came out this weekend here on Depraved and Debaucherous. Thanks for listening in and finding the show. A couple of things of housekeeping before we get started. I want to just give this heads up that when I saw how much my domain provider was going to charge me to go ahead and keep the website ddradio.live, I said, you know what? Fuck off. So I'm going to start moving all my content. I'm going to only promote one website as I had planned before, because I went ahead and redid the website altogether. So you can find, now, Depraved and Debaucherous has its own website, but you look for it first and foremost through my main website, kingofpodcasts.com. kingofpodcasts.com. That's where you find all of my content, all my talk programming and my music programming, which I curate through Spotify. It's really good to go and have. So I'm a little under the weather. That's what you hear. My voice sounds a little nasally. Yeah, I'm stuffed up. That's okay. Didn't get time to get any Sudafed. But anyway, over the weekend, I watched a Barbie movie on Saturday night. I like the fact to see that all the women are out there that are dressed all in pink. And not just when I saw the movie on Saturday, on Friday, and all through the week when I either went to the Regal over the weekend, or I went to the mall, or I just walked around. See a lot more pink around. That's actually kind of nice. To see all the women in pink, it's a kind of a solidarity. But remember, it's because women of all ages always take their Barbie dolls for one reason or another. For this movie to come out, everybody got caught up in a couple of messages that were put in it, which I don't give a shit about. Look, everybody is so caught up on having to take the political route on it, and I don't care. When I look at the overall movie, it's a fun movie, all right? Number one, the aesthetics. The way they built Barbie Land, they look really damn good. They created a whole branch of diverse Barbies, which I gotta say this. It's not that every woman needs to fit the role of a Barbie doll. It's that every woman doesn't need to be a Barbie doll. Why does it matter if they are? So that's the one thing I don't get of that part. So we had to have, diverse and inclusive Barbies. Okay, fine. But they don't have to be called Barbie. They can just be called something else. Why attach to the Barbie brand? It doesn't make a difference. Now, it doesn't mean that Barbie can't be different characters and Barbie can't have other friends. That's fine. But do you notice they call them all Barbie? Why don't we just get different names of friends of Barbie? That would have made more sense to me too. Like, we did have Skipper and Ken has Alan, right? So you have other characters that could have been made for the role. Let me tell you, if, Mattel wanted to go ahead and create a brand of other friends of Barbie, that would have made more sense to me. But for whatever reason, this is the part I have the issue with, is the fact that there's this creation that Barbie has to be what every girl is being told to strive to be. And it's not. It's a nice thought, but the truth is, I find Barbie to be a little bit too skinny for me. I'm not necessarily, big about blondes. I'm more for brunettes. Maybe a little thing for redheads. But don't get me wrong. Listen, the universal thought of Barbie being a beautiful woman, yeah, of course, I can agree with that. Margot Robbie couldn't have been cast better to be the role of Barbie. She has the beauty, the youth, the looks, and played the role great. Ryan Gosling was a very good Ken. Damn good. And I think for what they had them do in the movie was good. Now, then you put in the role about how they pulled the whole story about Mattel, and then where America Ferrera's character is the one that is a real big fan of Barbie, much like her daughter was, and now they're both perturbed by Barbie. Because America Ferrera's character is a mother that feels like, why didn't I get to have the Barbie life in Barbie Land like Barbie is? And that was the part that she was upset with. And sure, there's others. And listen, they poke fun at Barbie and Mattel. Deservedly so, by the way. I thought those jokes fit really well. Some of the other jokes were not for me. That's okay. But when they went to the movie and they talked about how the guys, this is the part that I think has to be understood. I think this is where Greta Gerwig was really trying to get people around. When it comes to the guys, today the guys are kids. The younger teens and 20-somethings right now, who I'm trying to target a lot of my content to these days on this program, because I want to just give the word of warning and just explain, and maybe a couple of people might get touched by this programming and by what I try to say behind this microphone every week, in hopes that you'll realize that I want better for all of you in terms of taking a little bit from what we did before. I'm not trying to go ahead and make you prudish or anything like that. Guys, girls, I don't want you to be anything like that. I'm not asking you to go and save yourself from marriage. No. But I'll tell you what, is that you got to explore the world. And that you experience who you are and individualize who you are without anybody or anything hurting you or affecting who you are. Which is why I talk about being depraved and debaucherous. I think that some of that thinking is actually not that bad. And it doesn't mean that if you're depraved and debaucherous means that you're going to be, some kind of a sex-starved lush or you're, some kind of predator. No, not at all. But we should enjoy romance. We should enjoy lovemaking. We should enjoy all of that. Which is the focus of what men and women are together. The intent, at least for men, especially. But for women, I think is forgotten. Because of this whole thought process, well, you just can't, as a beautiful woman, that you need to go ahead and use your privilege to get as much as you want, and that you use sex and your sexual organs as bait. Like you're just using it there as fodder, but you're never going to experience the sexual pleasure that you want with someone that you might be interested in, or that's very nice to you when you would prefer to just have sex with someone that just for the purpose of sex, that's not going to care about you at all. There's just something to be said about the focus on the Barbie dolls and the Ken dolls and what their purposes are. Because Ryan Gosling's character wanted to go out with Barbie on a date. Hey, hook up, go out, get to know each other, create a romance, and then get a little freaky in the bedroom, right? Before you get married or after, whatever. But the whole idea is that it's nothing happen. And also, maybe if you want to have a little experience before you get to that point and get to a real commitment, yeah. If you have a couple of people that you've been with before you get to the one that you're going to be in love with, sure. Some people expect that you're supposed to be some virgin before. No, that's not going to happen. That kind of stuff went away with birth control. So don't even worry about that. So at the mall today, I was looking at 5 middle schoolers, 2 girls, 3 guys. They obviously went to the Barbie movie in the movie theater at the mall. Like I said, I go to the mall all the time. I listen to my music, just walking around, and I people watch, and I enjoy it. And I look throughout the whole time I'm at the mall. They're walking around. They're going to the boba place to go sit down, like a little Starbucks type place that does boba tea and stuff. And, what are those rolls? What are those, the buns, right? They do those and all that, right? So they're all sitting there. Do you think those boys, ooh, by the way, all 5 are dressed in pink. Now, I understand that's a common thing where girls feel like if they're going to do something together with a guy, or if they're dating, they have to be wearing the same colors or the same clothes, as a matter of fact, same shirts, things like that. There's always a common thing about that. And when I look and see these guys around, just hanging around with these girls, the girls are controlling the whole deal. I don't know who's paying for what, but I just see 3 guys there playing for the attention of these 2 girls. And the guys were like, the girls were attractive for, teenagers, to those teenage boys. And I see all this going on. I'm like, man, they're just getting dragged along. Because they're not, you can see of the 5 that there was not, of those 2 girls, they were not holding hands or closer to one of the other boys. They were just there as a group. Now, friends is fine. And, to have 3 guys together going out with the girls, like, all right, maybe that's fine. But listen, you're not just going there as you want. Like, I mean, do the guys want to go get boba tea? Do the guys just want to walk around the mall while the girls are shopping? And do those boys at their age, do they want to go see Barbie? They are basically currying favor and attention in hopes that they get closer to maybe dating one of those girls because they like them. And they're doing what they have to do to get there. But they don't have the gusto to say, hey, you know what? If you want to go out, go out to Barbie with my girlfriend. And like, let's do some other stuff and we'll go do Barbie as well. Like, where are the guys getting out of this? I mean, I don't know if the boys are paying or not, but they are spending their time. And remember, it's the thought process that, well, the women are spending the time. They're the ones that put together the look to go out with them. How much value do you really want to put to that? Like, there's a value, of course, but where's the value for you? That's the part I don't get for the kids. These boys, I don't get what they're not getting out of it. And I see it all the time. I mean, how many times do I see a girl, like a bunch of girls and a guy's going along? And I think part of it is that they might be feeling like, well, maybe they're not masculine enough to go ahead and just ask for a date. Or they could be gay, and that's fine. But I don't know if it's by choice or not. So I look and I see, well, okay, there's all these girls that are dressed like Barbie dolls all throughout the mall or in the movie theater. And I'm looking to see, okay, I see the difference where there's not a lot of guys with them. It's a girls thing. Okay. I went there by myself. It doesn't make a difference. But I look here, and what's the message being told to the girls? Like, remember, they played with Barbie dolls. Most likely, a lot of these girls played with Barbie dolls growing up. So there's an idolizing of Barbie from a young child all the way up into their, with moms obviously also being a part of the Barbie doll deal. And also wanting to say at one point they wanted to be like Barbie. They played with Barbie dolls. And that change happened. But now we're at the point where the way they depicted the movie, the traditional thing is, yeah, when you're young, the dolls, okay. Yeah, the dolls are being played with by little girls, not by boys. Boys play with G.I. Joes or maybe something else. But we're also playing this Barbie movie to an adult audience. This was not for kids. Let's just make that point. The Barbie movie was made for all ages, but I don't think it was necessarily for kids. I don't even know what the rating was for the movie. But if I had to go and look at it, it was a PG-13. And by the way, when you go look for Barbie on Google, it comes up with a pink background and sparkles all over the place. How about that? And the movie got positive ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, and so far, 87% audience score. It was fine. It was fine. Listen, I got no problem with it. I didn't have any issue watching the movie the first time, and I was like, okay, fine. So the movie was geared towards an older audience, so it's going to be teens to adults with some adult undertones in it because the boys were, they were made because of Ken's experience in the real world. They became alpha males. And that's kind of like the idea where Greta Gerwig was going with, is that once Ken got an experience of the real world and how he was being perceived outside of Barbie land, because he was the prototypical 6 foot tall, 6-pack abs, 6 foot whatever, like the whole hunk guy kind of thing. The only thing is, did he have money or not? And these days, we have to ask that question. Girls will ask, well, I like a Ken, but does he have the money? Does he have the money to spend on me? Right? Can he buy me pasta and lobster? Anyways, so Ken comes back, and because Barbie Land doesn't worry about materialism at all, Barbie Land was able to be manipulated by these new Kens, and Ken being basically the prophet to tell all these other Kens, look what I learned for the real world. And they took all these several stereotypical things of alpha males. Oh, look, we're working out, or we're drinking beer, we're doing this and that. We're cowboys. Like, there's that whole part of what they were talking about. Listen, I don't care about the part where the girl calls Barbie a fascist. I get what they're trying to do there. Whatever. The patriarchy. I know they're trying to get it there. But that's not what I'm talking about at all. What we need is to have something where you can have a movie, you can have the guys and girls that, if they want to go ahead and strive to be a Ken or Barbie type, okay, that alpha type or that archetype, fine, but that's not for everybody. But we already see Barbies and Kens anyway. Now they're the ones that become prom king or prom queen or homecoming king and homecoming queen. We see that all the time. Ultimately, my point is, I just don't want to see guys and girls be caught up, just like I talked about last week with beauty standards. When I see the young girls out there being subjected to being thought that your natural beauty is not good enough, that if you're not a Barbie, you're not good enough. That's the part I can't stand. But there are a lot of girls who get caught up on this. And who also influences them to think the same way? It's not really the parents of the family. Somewhat, sure. If they're looking up to somebody that's older than them and might be a peer, somebody they might look to as a mentor. But the truth is, it's social media that does that. And movies like this will also foster that kind of thought. There's enough pressure on girls to feel like they have to look a certain way, dress a certain way, act a certain way. Peer pressure sucks, man. But you see it right here. And Barbie Land is not like that. The girls are not getting together just like that. No, it's competition. And a lot of women are also going to be a little bit competitive with other women when it comes to the men that are out there and who they want to get with. If they find themselves a Ken, they also want to find one that has more to offer to them. Because it's not just, it used to be 30, 40 years ago, it didn't matter. Like a Ken was a Ken, and if a Barbie could get a Ken, then it was just about love. Not that anymore. Let me put it to you like this. First of all, I got to say this too. The Barbie soundtrack, I like all the music on it. A lot of good songs that were added into this. But I'll put one song that came out here, Barbie World, Ice Spice and Nicki Minaj, in the chorus. And I'm bad like the Barbie. I'm a doll, but I still want to party. Pink vet like I'm ready to bend. I'm intense, so I pull in a Ken. The thing is that the idea right now is Barbies want to be, independent. I'm a doll, but I still want to party. They want to live the lifestyle. They want to have the money. They want to have the clout, the status, all that. And then part of the song, they also talk about, hey, and I see the bread, I want all of it. And I want the green, so I all of it. And I throw it back, so he's losing it. It's about the money. And for women to go ahead and have that thought that, okay, they got to look like a Barbie, and they got to have the way they want to party, and what they want to do. So, like, it's as if it's like guys don't matter. The Kens don't matter. Is that what we want it to be? Does it have to be that way? But that's where we're right now. That's what kind of sucks. But that's part of the thing that I think we're getting right now is the modern feminists. Okay, there's the modern feminists and the alpha males, and we get that argument. You see a bunch of shows that talk about it one way or the other. I don't care about that part. I wish we didn't have to deal with any of it. I mean, I do think that guys need to step up, be more masculine, more forthcoming, confident, and act like a man. Not the whole man up thing. No. I'm not talking about that. So that's part of the thing I see that rare, and that's part why I really just feel like it goes across. Now, I'll take from a couple of stories that I'd pull up talking about it, and one story was from stylist.co.uk talking about how Greta Gerwig's Barbie is going to piss some people off, and that's a great thing. Now, they make the point of, check out the deliberately hyped portrayal of Barbie Land, where gorgeous women win Nobel Prizes, fill the Supreme Court, a court where lawyers argue intelligently and passionately are not criticized for being too emotional. Barbies are a diverse bunch, representing different races and sizes, don't look all like Margot Robbie, but they're all beautiful and desirable. In the story, they talk about, while this is still a fun, fizzy doll movie, it also becomes a story about patriarchy and sexism. So, without going into any spoilers, the entire premise is a challenge to the sort of reactionary people who hate to see women having a good time, and those who more than anything hate seeing women in positions of power. Wrong. This is what, and listen, it's a female director that wrote it. I'm sure it was a female that wrote the story. That's fine. if if you really feel like that's where we are, that we're worried about women being powerful, having a good time. No. But do you not care about love anymore? You don't care about companionship? I mean, I thought having a good time was also sex and fooling around. So what's happening there? Because I'm just saying, is that enough to make women happy? Because every time I look right now, I see a bunch of women that want to go dating because the dating purpose is to find a guy to find a relationship with and to find not just fiscal benefits, but romantic benefits. Now, of course, that can be put together, and there are a lot of women, of course, that want to get spoiled. Fine. But where's the part for the guy to say, hey, you know what? If I'm doing all this, is a woman going to reciprocate in kind because of how much I care and how much I want to spend time with her and spend on her? Like, if that would be a different story, if there was a guy that was actually getting, it was an equal shake, right? Because part of what I think is just women don't want to go ahead and, I'm not saying you have to put out, but put out for the guys that you want to put out to. And don't hold, because of some gifts you're not getting or what you think you deserve, put it over some guy's head. Like, if there's a guy that you actually like, okay, you're legitimately attracted to, and you want to be with, but then you're going to hold this over their head. And like, you're losing the chance of being with a guy that might be with you for the long run. What also used to be where we have enough women out there that are looking to date because they've been doing what this was, just what they said. Hate to see women having a good time, and those who more than anything hate seeing women in positions of power. I do what I want. But then we hear about the women that are not happy at the end of the day. They're not happy that they're going to go out. They can go out girls' night out, girls' weekend, or whatever. They can go out, spend money. They can be powerful people. But then what happens? Then all that other part, being a wife, being a girlfriend, being a mother, being loved, being adored for who you are, you're losing that. You don't take that. And for the alpha male part, it's the same way. The difference is that the guys, it's in America, pretty much, Western society. Because the guys are realizing, you know what, if we can't find a girl here that will fit the role, we'll just go somewhere else. That's where the whole passport bros comes from. The thing is that guys don't worry about, if they're dating, if they don't find anyone. Listen, we've already got a bunch of guys, including myself, that just given up. We just stopped. Because the other thing, too, is that it's not us that wants to have, the women want to have a good time. They want to have their equality, be empowered. Fine. There you go. Guys don't worry about that. And guys don't need that. Let's make that clear. We don't need Barbie dolls. We don't have to have Barbie dolls. We're not expecting that. When I see a Barbie doll, listen, for all the beauty and all the splendor and how she lights up a room, I see high maintenance, a lot of work to make herself as beautiful as she is, when the truth is, probably when you look at her without the makeup and all the other accessories around her, probably is still a very beautiful woman, and no matter what. So, yeah, give me her without the lashes, without the lipstick, the makeup, with all the extra accoutrements. You could take that all away. And I'm still not going to look at her any less than I do. I'll still find her fetching, and I'll be fond of her, and I'll admire her beauty and her youth and who she is. That's all there is to it. Hey, tell me if I'm wrong. Guys can see Barbie dolls all over the place at a club. They might be getting bottle service, right? Or they're just going out, girls' night out, whatever, or bachelorette party, whatever there is. Oh my God, bachelorette parties. I've had that deal where I go out and I see a bunch of girls together, all dressed in pink or wearing tiaras and all this stuff, and the bachelorette party goes out. It's like, okay, fine. But that's not everyone. Hey, you see guys that will see girls all together going out. Hey, I mean, personally for me, if I found a cute girl that works at a McDonald's or a Family Dollar or a damn Popeyes or whatever, pick a store, pick a place. Doesn't matter. I can find a beautiful woman in a lot of different places. But it's because of this whole idea that kind of makes people kind of feel a certain way. Now, I haven't taken any time to talk about the Kens. So there's one story from Time Magazine that talks about a movie about male fragility. And Ryan Gosling as Ken plays an important role, wrangling with the notion he's been along an accessory in Barbie's dream life more than an equal partner. The movie is supposed to be at its core for mothers and daughters, but it does offer social commentary on modern man's insecurities dressed up in bubblegum pink. Now, they talk about when he discovers that demolishing feminism involves more than donning Sylvester Stallone-inspired fur coats, riding horses, redecorating Barbie's dream house into what he dubs the Mojo Dojo Casa house, he loses interest. Easily distracted by acting out war games with other Kens, allowing the Barbies to take back Dreamland from the boys. Barbie makes it clear she's not interested in Ken romantically and urges him to find his own personal pastimes. So they make the point that a woman discovers she doesn't need a man to find her inner power. And that how men ought to reassess their own desires outside of their need to both control and depend on women. I don't think it's that way either. I just think that Kens right now are just at the point where, people just don't want to think about procreating. People want to just think about, like, we were happier when we were a sexual culture. Let me just put it like this. I'm pretty sure that a lot more division in the world will be cured if we had more love. More love, more sex. Okay? If people got laid more often, we wouldn't have so much infighting and all this other shit. Am I wrong? I really believe that. And that's all I got to say about this. I could go on for another hour about this, but I'm not. You know why? Because I don't think anybody wants to go and hear me go on a diatribe about it. It's just not that way. So keep it like that. Just realize we don't have to feel that way. There's something to be said about that. Maybe there's something about something more than, personal empowerment or, acting like you're an alpha male. That's something important. Feminist and alpha male, nothing. How about we all just kind of enjoy each other's company? How about we enjoy each other in a loving, embracing feel? How about we go out with each other and have a good old time? And how about we all stop fighting so much and stop worrying about who we are and what people think of us and what we think is better? Listen, if girls think they're going to get the pleasure of money and power and status, they're going to make them happy? No, because guys, even if they have it, they don't feel any better about themselves either. So, girls, I would just recommend do what the guys do when they have all that power, that respect, and all that money and clout. They get a little depraved and debaucherous.